Evening, my guys. Okay. Thank you. I know. How do I always do it? It's magic. That's how we get up on stage. Hey, how are you? So I'm really excited to be here with you guys tonight. Going to go off script for a quick second, but this week and what we have over Passover week, and we've started talking about it in Launch Point, and we've got it tonight, and then the message that's coming on Good Friday, and then we have Easter. And everything up into Easter, there's a weight and a heaviness to it that we feel kind of the more that we go through this week. The more that I've gone into it, the more that I feel, especially before stepping up here, just being fully transparent, like it's a lot. Like Friday's Good Friday, but the only reason it's good is because of Sunday. If it wasn't for Easter, it's all for naught. If it wasn't for the resurrection, it's for nothing. And I feel like as I was preparing this message and going into it, again, this series is before the cross. It's everything that happens as Jesus is moving toward the cross in his final moments, his final hours. Tonight, quite literally his final hours before he's arrested. So in Mark 10:45, it was that our series verse, and it's for even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. And that is what we've seen over the last few weeks. We had him serve with his last miracle, and then he served his disciples, and then he serves them through teaching. And ultimately, he is pouring into them in his final hours, in his final moments, when he could be doing anything, anywhere else. He's with them. He's giving them this last bit of knowledge and information and pouring these last words into his disciples because he knows after this, there's nothing. Like he's going to be separated. He's going to be ripped away from them. He's already told them that they're going to be scattered like sheep when the shepherd is struck. So for tonight, we're going to kind of, for those who have your Bibles, it'll be like fast fingers. So we've got Matthew 6 is where we're going to start. We're going to move into Matthew 26, and then we're eventually going to land in John. So with it, as I was preparing this, I kind of started thinking about New Year's. So how many of you guys are like me and, okay, well, I don't do it anymore. Full disclosure. Who makes New Year's resolutions still? Cool. Keep your hand up if you're still holding to those resolutions. Well, that's a lot better than I thought. So I feel like, this is church, not supposed to lie. So put your hands down if you're, not being truthful. But as we, yes. 6, Matthew 6, Matthew 26, and then John 17. So as I was preparing this and kind of going through it, one thing that I have done over New Year's is I stopped making New Year's resolutions because I knew that I was just going to fail. And I feel like as you become an adult, that's just going to be what you learn to accept in your life. We make them, and typically for me, by January 1st, it's a wrap. But one of the things that I did start doing is I started setting goals. And two of the main goals that I set for myself spiritually this year, last year I went through the New Testament. This year I wanted to go through the Old Testament and really start diving in there. That's kind of taken a hit with Easter and preparing some of these messages and getting there. But one of the other things that I really wanted to do was go back to back through all 4 Gospels. And when you do that, like there are things that you start to see and differences that start to jump out just kind of with how different the different authors portray and tell the story of what ends up happening. One of the things that opened my eyes as I was preparing for this and really going through Matthew 26 is that Matthew 26 is the Lord's Prayer. It's what we see in Matthew 6 on the Sermon on the Mount. So Matthew 5, 6, and 7 is all the Sermon on the Mount as Christ is teaching. But in Matthew 6, what we see is him lay out the foundation for how we are to pray. It's his first major message, and it's modeled there, and then we see that modeled again in the garden as he is going through his final hours and his final moments. It was another prayer on the Mount of Olives with his disciples that kind of is right before that. We're going to go through that again or as well tonight, and that all occurs between the Last Supper and his prayer in the Garden of Gethsemane. So for tonight, it's going to look a little bit different. We are going to take time to focus on Christ's example of prayer. Again, in his last moment, his last hours, his last chance to do anything, what he did was pray. He prayed with and over his disciples, and then he prayed by himself with God. So we're going to look at how he instructed his disciples to pray, as well as looking at how he prayed in those final hours and in his final moments. So with that said, we're going to jump all the way back to Matthew 6, starting in verse 9. So it says, "This then is how you should pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we have also forgiven our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one." So it's a lot, and it feels a little bit old as we read through this. So I want to really look at it through the lens of society today. Yes, Chevy. Mm-hmm. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Bro, all right, that was super random, but thank you, Chevy. Bro, that is awesome. All right. Mm-hmm. All right. So we're not going to hit on that tonight. We're going to kind of catch me after the service. All right. So with it, bringing it all back in, what I really wanted to look at with this is what it means today and how this applies and what it means as we read this and how that looks. So first he instructs him in verse 9, this is how we should pray. So he's laying out the foundation and the model of prayer. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Revered be your name. Holy be your name. Mighty, majestic, worthy is your name. When we open our prayer and we go to God, we recognize who he is. Like, he's not the guy sitting right beside us. It's not, me and Nick having a conversation. You're the sovereign king and the ruler of the universe and the creator of all. 6:10 says, your kingdom come and your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. It's your kingdom. It's your will. And it's not how we see it, but it's how it's done in heaven. How your will plays out in heaven. The things that you let unfold and how you hold heaven, pour that out onto us. Let your will be done here on earth the same way that it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. This is a throwback way back to the Israelites. So as the Israelites were leaving Israel, they all kind of freaked out, didn't know how they were going to eat in the desert as they were traveling with Moses. And God provided for them daily. It was the manna from heaven. It was the daily bread. And with that, there was a stipulation that was placed on it. Take enough for today. Don't take any for tomorrow. Tomorrow it's going to be rotten. Tomorrow it's going to be bad. Don't worry about tomorrow. Worry about today. Like, I got you. Stay in the moment. Stay with me. Trust me. Trust me for your provision. And Jesus continues on through that. I believe it's verse 34. It says, therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will have worry about itself, or tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. God's going to meet us where we are, our needs for today. What you need, where you need, how you need, the things that you are going through and the struggles. When you turn to him and you lean on him and you go to him for that provision, you truly begin to trust him, God pours that out on you. So Lamentations in chapter 3, verse 22 and 23 tells us that his mercies and his compassions, depending on the translation, they renew daily. So stay in the moment. Stay with God. Give him what you are going through and allow him to meet you in that moment where you are. Forgive us our debts as we have also forgiven our debtors. The King James, I believe it's forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Forgive us of our sins as we forgive the others who have sinned against us. God, forgive me. Forgive me where I fall short. Forgive me where I've let you down. Forgive me where I can't measure up. And then pour into me the same strength to forgive those who've wronged me. Help me to forgive. If you guys are like me, and I know somebody here, if not all the somebody seated here, you have people in your life who are very difficult to forgive. Like, they make it hard. And then we make it hard on ourselves Because instead of trusting God to pour into us that ability to forgive, we just start to hold it against us. And then we wonder why we end up butting heads or why we don't feel God, why we can't connect to God. And we have this barrier and this wall that's up between us and him because we're so unwilling to forgive others. And I'm not saying that every situation is going to be easy. Like there are really, really hard things that we go through. You guys, I'm sure there are moments in your life that are challenging, but there are things bigger in your life than I think other people realize and understand. Things that are so easy to hold on to those grudges. Things that are just so difficult to forgive. So when we go to him, we not just seek forgiveness for ourselves, but give us the strength and the ability to forgive others around us. And then finally, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. It's God, I can't do this on my own. I don't have the strength for this. Like if I could do this on my own, I wouldn't need God. But I keep going down the same path and it keeps leading me into a world of hurt. I can't get out of it. I can't dig myself out of this. It's God, deliver me from the evil one. Deliver me from the trials and the tribulations and the struggles. Break the chains off of me. I can tell you when I laid my life down to Christ. So you guys know this about me is, I've been in law enforcement for, I don't know, almost 20 years now. My career is older than many of you here. Some of you feel like almost twice as old. But there are words and things that were said over the course of my career because I didn't follow Christ. And what I can say is when I gave myself over to Christ, that was one of the things that felt like I left it. There's a song. You left it in the water, left it in the river. It was there. It stayed in the pool. It didn't come home with me. And it was one of the supernatural things because I didn't ask for it, but God knew I needed it. And he met me in that moment and snapped those chains off of me. And there are some things that drop instantly. There are other things that take time and dedication and prayer and support and sometimes counseling and other people to help you with biblical-based counseling and so many other things. But there are things that are out there that are put in place to help you. But ultimately, we need to lean on God for what we need deliverance from. And this is the same prayer that Jesus models for us in Matthew 26. So again, as he's entering the garden and he's going through this, he feels the weight and he feels the emotion. As he's coming into the garden, he knows he's got about an hour left. It's his last moments. I can go anywhere. I could eat anything, do anything, I could travel, I could run, I could hide. And what he does is he goes into the garden quite literally bearing the weight of the world on his shoulders. If you guys have ever faced anxiety, if you've ever faced stress, if you've ever felt like an elephant is sitting on your chest because you can't get past this thing that's in your life because everything's just so overbearing and overwhelming, Christ was there too. He's gone through this. In the garden in Luke, it actually says that he was so stressed and overwhelmed that he actually ends up bleeding drops of blood like their sweat. So through his pores, through his capillaries, through broken blood vessels, he begins to sweat that out. And that's simply from stress. That's from stress and the anxiety and the weight that's there. So he goes into the garden and he takes his disciples with him, but he has 11 with him at this time. And he only takes to the furthest point James, John, and Peter, his inner circle, his closest three. Because they're who he has been able to count on most times. They were there for the transfiguration. They were there through Jairus' daughter as he raised her from the dead. And now they are brought with him here. So Matthew 26, starting in verse 38, says, "Then he said to them, 'My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me. Stay here and stay awake from me. Stay here and stay vigilant with me. Be watchful. Just be here.'" Like you don't fully understand what I'm getting ready to go through. You don't understand what I'm getting ready to lay down. You don't understand the pain, and not just the physical pain, but the emotional and the spiritual pain and the things that are getting ready to happen with this. There's so much that goes. I'm not asking you for anything other than to simply stay here and just be with me. So Jesus goes a little farther, and he fell with his face to the ground and he prayed, "My Father, if it is possible, may this cup be taken from me, yet not as I will, but as you will." Then he returned to his disciples, and he found them sleeping. Couldn't you men keep watch with me for 1 hour? He asked Peter, watch and pray so that you won't fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Does any of this sound familiar? Does any of this start to sound like the Lord's Prayer, the very first prayer that he teaches us with how to pray? My Father, not my will, your will. And then he turns to Peter. Pray so that you don't fall into temptation. Your spirit is willing. Your mouth runs a lot. You talk a lot. There's a big game that Peter talks. Because right before this, at the Lord's Supper, Jesus tells him he's going to deny him 3 times. He's like, not me. I'm Peter. I got you. I would never do that. In fact, I would die for you. And all the other disciples are like, that's right. We'd die for you. We lay it all down. They can't even stay awake. And Jesus is coming to Peter specifically because he knows he's going to deny him. And he's telling him to watch and telling him to pray and telling him to do this, to not fall into temptation. And the words go in one ear and out the other. Peter misses it entirely. And I have to think that as he looks back, as he's going through this and as the denial happens, he sees Jesus, he remembers the words, and then at some point he had to have remembered, maybe I could have avoided this. Maybe I could have prayed and avoided this. Yes, Shed.
I read Mark the other day, and it said did go out and pray for an hour.
So maybe I would have to go through Mark again there. So, but at some point he ends up leaving him where he is asleep. Either way, he is falling asleep. Then he goes on through there, and it's that Jesus went away a second time and said, my Father, if it is possible for this cup to be taken away unless I drink it, may your will be done. Or if it's not possible for this cup to be taken away unless I drink it, may your will be done. And he comes back and he finds them sleeping again because their eyes are heavy. So he leaves them and he goes away once more, and he prays a third time saying the same thing. And he returns to all the disciples and he sees them and says, are you sleeping? Are you resting? The hour has come. The Son of Man is delivered into the hands of the sinners. Rise, let us go. Here comes my betrayer. He prays 3 times. He returns each time to find them sleeping. Like, no matter which way this goes, whether it's the story in Matthew or the story in Mark, no matter the distance and time that it is, he comes back after pouring out, quite literally, blood through his capillaries like he's sweating blood. With the pain and the turmoil and things that he is going through, he comes back to find his friends, his closest friends, asleep. Have you ever been there? Have you ever been in a moment where you were counting on somebody to have your back, somebody to be there for you, somebody to pick you up, somebody to carry you, somebody to meet you, somebody to do something for you, because you can't do this alone, and you're alone. Like, they may be with you. You may be texting them, or they may say, hey, let me know if you need anything. Like, this is one of the worst things we do in society. It's like somebody loses someone or somebody has something tragic happen, and he goes, let me know if you need anything. They just want you to be there. They want you to reach out to them. They want you to want to help them. It's so generic. Don't ask that. It's how can I help you? I know you need something. It's not about let me know if you need me. Bro, I need you. You know that I need you. Please help me. But so often we end up having these moments where it's just us. Like, you have your friends and you have your family and you keep trying to reach out, and it's like you run into a wall and you just feel so alone. Sometimes we isolate ourselves. Like, I need you, God. And I need my friends, and I need to reach out. And I think I did this recently with Pastor Matt. I told him, I almost reached out to you for prayer, but I know you're busy. So I didn't. I handled it. The day was rough. Really could have used a friend. And it's nothing against what he did. I never reached out. Sometimes we isolate ourselves. But no matter if we're alone because of us or we're alone because we reach out and we don't have that help, just know that Christ was there, again, with you. And for him, I can't imagine the disappointment or the hurt. Like, he's there. He knows what's getting ready to happen. We know the end. And the only reason that any of this is positive, and like I said earlier, the only reason that it's Good Friday is because of Sunday. What his disciples were getting ready to witness was their best friend, who they've been with for the last 4 years, who they've done miracles with, who they've been shoulder to shoulder with, who've opened their eyes to everything. He's getting ready to be murdered brutally. Brutally. If you've ever seen The Passion of the Christ, it's a very PG version of how bad Christ was beaten. And he understands this. But it's not just about the physical pain. It's about the separation from the Father that's coming. And for Christ, he's like a stone's throw. He's in earshot. They can hear him praying, and they just keep sleeping. His friends are with him, but he's completely alone in the most difficult time of his life. But in John 17, Christ shows us the example specifically of how to pray. See, he knows that Matthew 26 is coming. He knows that the chapter that we just read is coming. He knows that this is how it's going to play out. And what he does right before he goes is he still takes time out to pray over his disciples and to show them how to pray. So in John 17, verse 1 through 5, very quickly, Jesus goes and he prays that he can be glorified so that he can glorify the Father. God, use me. It's not that I'm worth anything. It's not that I'm special. It's not that I have anything, although Christ does, but it's the same thing modeled for us. It's the same prayer that many of your leaders, I'm sure, pray. It's one that I know I pray. Like, this isn't about me. I'm just a dude who happened to show up one day, and I'm able to try to have the opportunity to teach you. And for me, it's the opportunity for God to try to hopefully work through these moments. For you guys to open up your hearts and your minds to Christ. And for him, it's just glorify me so that I can glorify you. It has nothing, I'm not worried about the glory. I'm not worried about the honor. I'm not worried about the notoriety. I'm not worried about going Instagram famous or TikTok famous or whatever else. Well, all I want whatever it is that I am teaching to be true and to be taught in love and in a way that brings God the Father glory and honor. That's it. And then in verse 6 through 19, he prays for his disciples and his closest friends. We're going to focus on verse 14 through 17. I have given them your word, and the world has hated them, for they are not of the world any more than I am from the world. My prayer is not that you take them out of the world, not that you take my disciples, not that you take my friends out of the world, but that you protect them from the evil one. Lead us not into temptation. Deliver us from the evil one. So they're not of the world, even as I am not of it. Sanctify them by truth. Your word is truth. There's a verse that says, be holy as I am holy. Make them holy as I am holy. Work through them. Draw them to you. Help them to be the salt and the light of the earth. See, it's your kingdom come. Your will be done. It's all about magnifying Christ. And then John 17, 20 through 21. Jesus prays for you. I don't know if that's ever anything that's dawned on you, anything that you've thought of, heard of, recognized, or read. Jesus Christ, before he died on the cross, prayed for you. Period. So as we go through that, it's my prayer is not for them alone. My prayer is not only for my disciples. I pray also for those who will believe in me through their message, that all of them may be one. Father, just as you and I, or you are in me, and I am in you. May they also be in us, that the world may believe that you have sent me. Again, Jesus knows that he's going to be arrested and tried and brutally beaten and executed. And what he does in his last moments, the example that he sets for us, knowing everything was coming to an end, is that he serves, he loves, he taught his disciples, and he prays. He spent time with God. He prayed for those around him. He prayed for his disciples. He encouraged them to pray. And he prayed for what he was going to endure. Not for God to remove him from it, but for his will to be done through it. And that God would be glorified in that moment. And if you have any doubt of why or who he did this for, just remember, he prayed for you. He prays for all believers. I pray for those who will believe in you through their message, for all of those who believe in God because of the word of the apostles. That's us. We're not here if they don't live by Matthew 28:19. We're not here for any of that if none of that passage gets lived out. So he did it for you. From the prayers on the Mount of Olives with his disciples to the final hours on the cross, where it's Father, forgive them. That's you. You are the them. You are here. And ultimately, he prays to the Father for your forgiveness. So as we look to Christ and the example that he set, and as we move into this week for Easter, we're going to do something, again, different tonight. We're not going to break for small groups. We're not walking through there to go to small groups. Instead, we're going to take time to pray. We're going to pray where we are to start, but then we're going to break up into small groups of like 3 or 4 to try to pray for each other. In that, what I would ask is if you have people who you're not comfortable being in a group with and not comfortable opening up to, don't go to that group. Find a different group. For those of you who are leaders, please, not my leaders, y'all leaders. Those who are youth, who are natural leaders, who are comfortable praying, who are confident praying, who are comfortable helping others, be in those groups. Please help others. As I promised you, in a group this size, there are people who need prayer more than you realize and know. There are things that they are going through and enduring and walking through in their life that is so difficult. They need prayer and they've not felt comfortable asking. And tonight may be the opportunity that the door is open for somebody to pray for them. So I need you to please take this seriously. Please pray for those in those groups. And please stand up if you're confident and you're comfortable. And if not, I would challenge you to get out of your comfort zone to pray for those in your group. Our leaders are going to kind of float through this as we break up into the small groups. We're going to hold here for a few minutes. But as I came into this, I have a question to pose to you. God answered every prayer the way that you wanted it answered over the last month. What would have changed in your life? If God delivered on everything that you asked him for, what would it be? Would you have $1 million? Would you have new siblings? A new job? Would you have passed a test? Or is the person in your life who is lost and in need of a Savior, would they be saved? How many who are lost in your life would be saved through the prayers that would have been answered over the last month? If it's 0, why? How would you have grown in your faith? How close would you be to God right now? Over the last month outside of here, have you prayed at all? So, go ahead and bring the lights down for me. We're going to model this the way that Jesus modeled for us. We're going to go through this the same way that he did. See, 1 Thessalonians 5:16-18 says to rejoice always, to pray continually, and to give thanks in all circumstances. James 5:13 says that if anyone among you in trouble, let them pray. Is anyone happy? Let them sing songs of praise. So to begin, right where you are, we're going to go ahead and every head bowed, every eye closed. We're going to start this by taking a moment to give thanks to God for the good in your life. Even if it's basic, even if it's small, even if you've got to dig deep. Give thanks for at least 3 things in your life. Jesus goes on to say, your kingdom come, your will be done. Your kingdom, your will. So next, what I'd like you to pray is that God moves in your life and in your faith. Pray for yourself to be open up to God's will for your life.